Brooklyn Independent Television.
Comprised of husband and wife team John Neufeld and Annika Kay, Jonka is a lo-fi electro-pop duo known for their synthy beats and their delicious vocal harmonies. Jonka's sound is catchy and 80s inspired, which I personally love, but more than anything, their music just feels good. Let's take a listen.
I'm looking out, I'm looking in, the world come rushing in. Somehow I figure it out, we get there. When I hit and graduate, we know things ain't got complicated now. You know I'll figure it out when we get there. I know I'll figure it out when we get there.
I would best describe Jonka as a marriage of synthesizers and pop music and hip-hop and rock all meshed into one.
After a while of us being together, we really just were sort of experimenting with what our harmonies would sound like, and we kept on developing them. And as time went on and different musical projects began evolving, he incorporated my vocals more and more, and then it came to a point where Jonka was sort of born.
I know I'll figure it out when we get there. No, 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 no.
I always loved music, and my grandfather was a blind subway musician. He used to play the subways of New York City, and whenever I would go to their apartment, you know, he'd play the organ, he'd play the saxophone, we'd sing along, so music was always there, but it probably wasn't until the beginning of senior year of high school where I had this major shift, or this 180 where I said, you know what, I need to follow this, I enjoy it, and all of a sudden something clicked in my mind where it became a reality that, you know, I should do what I love doing and what I'm so passionate about and what really keeps my focus.
My first cassette tape was Madonna Like a Virgin. And even throughout high school, throughout college, I really always loved the music that I grew up with, which was very synthy and poppy. Definitely appreciate more mellow singer-songwriter types. I really appreciate boy-girl vocal harmonies, which obviously speaks to our musical influences as well.
Think about it all the time. Think about it all the time. Think about it day and night. Said I think so much, I think I blew my mind. Think about it all the time. Think about it all the time. Think about it day and night. Said I think so much, I think I blew my mind.
My musical influences are pretty wide and varied. Growing up, I listened to a lot of folky singer-songwriters. So vocal groups were always very strong. The importance of lyrical content and vocal harmonies were really reinforced at home. And then, you know, growing up, I was exposed to a lot of hip-hop, everything from Bruce Springsteen and Tom Petty to bands like the Eurythmics or Depeche Mode. So I appreciate all kinds of music. I've played, you know, music as a folky singer-songwriter, stripped down. The synthesis of our vocal career together was, you know, doing harmonies. You know, it moved on to rock and pop rock, and eventually, you know, after years and years of writing and recording, feeling like I wasn't breaking through to the next level, finding that next sound that really defined what I was going for, and I started picking up the synthesizers and putting down the guitar and, you know, digging further and further with that, and it's kind of how I've arrived where we're at now.
Every other day, I'm talking every other day. I think I know. I thought I knew, but now I know now. These are the times we ought to know.
We love Prospect Heights. We came here in 2001, and at the time it was primarily West Indian. I think in the past 10 years we've seen a lot of gentrification and a lot of changes. I think it's been a positive change for the neighborhood in terms of business development, and I love being near the Botanical Gardens and the Brooklyn Museum. I think we just have a lot of great stuff going on here.
A lot of people say, you know, your music just makes me feel good. It puts me in a good mood. It, you know, lifts my spirits. I feel happy and positive when I listen to your music, and always sets me right. You know, which is probably the nicest thing anyone can really say about your music or your art in general, that if you, you know, affect someone and, you know, lift their mood and their energy up. And that's, you know, that's the sound and the aesthetic that we're going for. And, you know, people Likewise, you know, love the 80s influence, love the production sound and the lo-fi electro thing.
Our debut album is called Slow and Steady Wins the Race. We have been working diligently on our next recording. The name of that album is Pinks and Blues, and we're just thrilled with the way that it sounds so far. Just really speaks to the sound that we're going for.
Well, it's the best time ever to be an independent artist. You know, the music industry is really in flux. Labels don't have the same influence and power that they used to have. They're not able to put as much money into as many artists, so they really focus on a few. But as an independent artist, you know, the most empowering move you can make is to license your music to television and film. So if you get the exposure through a TV show or through a soundtrack and a film, that opens up the opportunity for touring, which opens up the opportunity for the sale of merchandise, etc. We're focusing more on trying to make connections with licensing of the music, publishing, and touring.
Follow us on Twitter at BK Independent TV.